Hi and welcome to Old School Blues Guitar. This is a redo of one of my first electric blues guitar instrumental lessons. And it's the guitar parts from Little Walter's Shake Dancer, an instrumental in the key of E. Now I did this a few years ago and there's a lot of parts of this that I did not teach correctly. And I've listened to the song and I think I figured out, if not all of it, I figured out most of it. And so I want to redo the lesson. Plus the quality of that video wasn't the greatest lighting and I have a much better camera now. So I just thought I'd do it again. It's in the key of E. And we're going to start off and I'm just going to show the verse. I'm going to play what's being played behind Little Walter's heart for each verse. It's got quite a few verses. And then if there are any chords or any ideas within that verse, I'll teach those then instead of teaching the chords ahead of time. Let's just do it as we go. So it starts out with a guitar riff, which is an E ninth chord. And it does something like this. Let me try to play the whole first verse through one time for you. Verse all the way through and then we'll break it down. So there's the first part, and I think I'm pretty close on that, so let's go through and try it out. The first lick is an E ninth shape. So I've got my ring finger flattened out on the top three strings on the 7th fret. Then I've got my second finger on the 7th fret of the 5th string and my first finger on the 6th fret of the 4th string. Now when he plays this, he could be playing just the shortened version, 3-string version, but I don't hear that. When I hear it, I hear the full chord, because it's a powerful chord and it sounds like he's playing 5 strings on it. So he starts out with his bump ba da. He kind of lets it hang before he cuts it off. Does it twice. Again. So 3 times with that lick, and then he's going, and he's sliding up 2 frets to the 9th fret from the 7th. On that last slide, he's kind of doing a little smear back from the 9th to the 7th. So let's try the whole thing so far. It's like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then he goes to the A. And here he's sliding from the 12th fret to the 14th fret with that 9th shape. Again, I don't know if he's keeping the whole chord or just sliding the top 3 strings, but he's doing this. So it's 1, 2, 3. And the 3 is sliding back from the 14th to the 12th. So it's 1. Like that. Trying to think too much. There it is. Same thing at E. Like that. And then when he gets to the 5, which is a B, he's going to play this lick. And so he's going from the B, and he's got his first finger probably on the 7th fret of the 1st string, and the second finger on the 8th fret of the 3rd string. Kind of that honky tonk. You ever heard the instrumental honky tonk? So he's going, sounds like he's sliding into it from maybe 1 step below. And then as he's coming back down, he's going to go to the 6th and 7th frets, and then the 5th and 6th frets. So it's from a B to a B flat to an A. Kind of like that. And then when he gets done with that, he goes. So he goes to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 1, 2, 3. And then a hammer on the 1st fret of the 3rd string. So the whole thing. And then he does this turnaround. I'm not sure exactly what he's playing here. I listened to this hundreds of times, and the way I've always played it is like this. So I'm getting the third string, third fret, first string, open, first string. Then I'm doing this hammer-on thing on the second fret of the first string. And then open, first string. Like that. And then 3-2 open on the second string. Second fret of the third string. And then that hammer-on the first fret. So I've been playing it like this. And then he uses that ninth chord again, this time from a C ninth to a B ninth. And that's the turnaround on the 5. So let me try to go through the whole verse one time slowly. That's what I'm pretty sure he's doing there. I may not have played everything smoothly, trying to think while I'm playing. This little turnaround, he could be doing something like this. I can't think of any other pattern. Listen to that and see if you can hear it. And if you get it, you can hear it clearly, tab it out for me or something, or let me know. Because I just can't, for some reason, I just can't hear this. So I'm always playing. When I listen to it, it just doesn't sound right. It sounds like there's something in there that I'm missing. So there's the first verse for Little Walter's Shake Dancer. Second verse of Little Walter's Shake Dancer. And let me play it all the way through for you, and then we'll break it down. So there is the second verse. I started out with this typical Chicago blues thing. I've got a D7 shape, but I'm playing an E7. I've got my first finger on the third fret of the second string, my ring finger on the fourth fret of the first string, and my second finger on the fourth fret of the third string. And I'm sliding into it from one below. And then when I go to the 4, I've seen some people go to the A7th chord, which is the 4, and just play this. Or you can just take this and move it down one step. Not sure which one they're doing. Either one works. So let me play it with the A7th. Then you go back to this. And then to the E9th. So it's just your E9th chord that we learned in the first verse. And then he starts this double stop rhythm. And so what I'm doing here, if you've never seen this before, I've got my first finger on the 5th fret, 2nd and 3rd strings, and I'm hammering on my second finger onto the 6th fret of the 3rd string. But it's a double stop, so I'm getting the 2nd string as well, and I'm just choking it off with my right hand palm. And then my ring finger is coming down on the 7th fret, 2nd and 3rd strings. That's a pretty common Robert Lockwood country blues type thing. And then he's going to that E9th again. He does that twice. He's just going 1, 2, 3, slide back down. 1, 2, 3, slide back down. Like that. And then he's going into this thing again. And this time he does this kind of a different ending to it. So the whole thing. And the timing on that is kind of tricky. You gotta listen to where he puts that in exactly. I'm going to focus more on what he's playing here instead of trying to get the timing right. Like that's pretty close. So it's that same double stop, first and third string, and then it's going to bend on the third fret of the second string. And it sounds to me like he's going to bend that and then get an open first string. And an open second string. Second fret of the third string, hammer on the first fret of the third string. So something like this. Whoops. And he goes into the same turnaround. And that's what I hear for the second verse. So let me play it all the way through one time slowly. Let me know if you have any questions about this. And that's the end of verse number 2. Number 3 is a pretty straightforward one. And let me play it all the way through, and again, we'll break it down. There's the second verse. So he starts out with this double stop lick played in E over the 1. So I'm starting, I use my second finger on the second fret of the 4th string. And then I'm going to hammer on a double stop. First fret of the 3rd string with the open 2nd string. And then I'm going to flatten my second finger on the 2nd fret, 2nd and 3rd string. And then just slide that up one and back. Double stop, hammer on, back to the 4th string. So slowly. Does it again. Now he's going to play the exact same thing over the A. And this time, since you don't have the benefit of the open string, I'm going to start on the 7th fret of the 4th string and then do that same hammer on we did before with the, remember this lick? Just doing part of that. Hammering on with the first finger planted on the 5th fret, 2nd and 3rd strings, hammering on to the 6th string, getting the 2nd string as well, or the 6th fret of the 3rd string, getting the 2nd fret, 2nd string. And then flattening out my ring finger on the 7th fret, 2nd and 3rd strings. And then sliding it up and back, just like we did up down here. And then we go back to the 1. It sounds like to me when he gets ready to go to the 5, he cuts it off a little bit. So instead of going to the 4th string, he just leaves it on the hammer on. So like this. And then we're going this time, instead of playing the single string, it sounds to me like he's playing an F shape over the B. So I'm getting the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd strings. My first finger is on the 7th fret, 1st and 2nd strings. My second finger is on the 8th fret of the 3rd string. And this time he doesn't do that little one step. He just goes straight from the 5 to the 4, which is an A. Same shape. And I don't know what he does to wind that up. It sounds to me like this. I don't know if he throws in something there or just lets it go, but then he comes back to the turnaround. That part you have to listen to and listen for yourself. So let's do the whole verse. Slowly. I think he does one of those too. So that is the third verse of Little Walter's Shake Dancer. There's lots more to come. Dancer, this is a really cool one. Let me play it for you and then we'll break it down. So he starts out with this Freddie King E7. And this chord, if you don't know it, I've got my first finger on the 9th fret, 1st and 2nd strings. My pinky is on the 12th fret, 1st string. My second finger is on the 11th fret of the 3rd string, and my ring finger is on the 12th fret of the 4th string. Sometimes they call that Freddie King chord because he plays it in the song Hideaway. Earl Hooker used this chord a lot too. So he does this 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Then he does a slide. He starts on the 9th fret and slides to the 7th with that E9 shape. And he does it again. And then he's going to go to an A9th on the 12th fret. Little slide there, so it's 1, 2, sits out, and then he comes back into that double stop lick. And then to the honky tonk turnaround. Just like that. So let me play that verse for you slowly. There's the next verse of Little Walter's Shake Dancer.